Tony, you gotta unmute yourself.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Barbell Life show. I'm your host, Tony Camper, and I'm here with a beautiful panel today. I'll go ahead and start naming them off. First off, our first co-host, the lovely Carla. Say hi, Carla.
Hey guys, hey BBL.
And making his first appearance, we have the lurker, Nick. Say what's up, man.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick. I usually sit behind the shadows and just listen and watch, but I figured I'd participate today. So.
Cool. And the one and only, the guru, Larry Carter.
Hey guys, what's up?
And I'd like to welcome our very first guest, the lovely bar beast, Miss Christina Teaters. Say hey.
Hey.
All right. So, like I said, we got our first guest from the group on the show today. Larry, what's the title of the show?
The title of this show is Being Your Best Despite the Odds.
Okay, so the title of the show has a lot of relevance. I'm sorry, to our guest. Christina has a pretty good story to share, and that's a big reason why we brought her on the show today. So you guys all know her from the Barbell Life, you know her from the Bar Beast. You may have seen her in the Barbell Life calendar. So she's pretty popular within the Barbell Life community. And like I said, she has a great story to share. So we'll get right into it. Christina, you want to give us a little background about yourself before we tell your story?
Sure. I'm 37. I am an elementary school teacher. I also run my own business. I sell jewelry, and I try to work out as much as I can. And amongst juggling all of that in my life, I also have a really rare autoimmune disease, and I have a kidney transplant, and I'm waiting for another one. So I really balance a whole lot in life, and I try not to let that get the best of me, even when times are tough.
Now, what's the name of this? Hold on, let me back up real quick. When did you find out about this disease, and can you tell us a little bit about that moment?
Sure. I actually had graduated college. I went to Clarion, which is here in Pennsylvania. I went to Clarion. I graduated college in December. I was actually getting ready to move out of the house. I was hired to teach 6th grade in a school in Ohio. My whole life was set out in front of me, and I was ready to go. And then one day I started getting sick, and I went to the doctor, and he told me I just had an infection, put me on some meds, and before I knew it, everything shut down. My whole system just shut down. I was deathly ill. My parents took me to the hospital, and after about 2 weeks, the doctors figured out that it was this disease called Goodpasture syndrome. They told me that I was going to have to do dialysis, and even at that point, I wasn't going to let it ruin all of my plans for life, because I felt like, well, if I can do dialysis at home, I can do dialysis in Ohio. I wasn't going to let that stop me. And then I started taking seizures, because your kidneys do a lot to control your blood pressure, and when your blood pressure gets too high, it'll cause you to have seizures. So when the seizures started, I couldn't drive. And so if I couldn't drive, I couldn't work. And that's when everything really just kind of fell around me.
What kind of issues were you having? You said your body shut down? Like, what kind of things were going on?
Um, to be quite honest, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but it's the reality of the situation. I just started peeing blood one day, and then I went to the doctor. He told me it was an infection, and then he put me on meds for that, and then I just stopped peeing altogether. Just and everything was over, and there was nothing they could do to reverse it. Like it was over. My kidneys were gone.
So this is primarily a kidney disease.
Yes.
Okay. So you said you got to the point where you were having the seizures and you realized you couldn't work because of
Right.
that. So what was the next step in this whole process?
Well, I was really sick at the time. Between the seizures and just the kidney problems in themselves, with doing dialysis 3 times a week, because that's what you have to do to stay alive. It was really hard on me. I had lost a lot of weight. I was down to 82 pounds, which I'm a small person, but 82 pounds on anybody looks bad. I lost all of my muscle. I couldn't really walk without falling. Like I couldn't go down the 2 steps to my parents' porch. I would always fall down because my legs weren't strong enough to hold me up anymore. Um, like even just walking from the house to the car would exhaust me. I couldn't go to the store because I couldn't walk that far. My dad had to push me in a wheelchair. The doctor made me walk with a cane, which was horribly embarrassing for a 20-year-old. Horribly embarrassing. But that was all I could do because I couldn't hold myself up anymore because my legs were so weak from all the time spent in the hospital. Honestly, I was in the hospital for months and months and months. And I would be sick and, they'd have me in and they would kind of get me doctored up enough to send me home. And I would go home for maybe 2 or 3 days and then something would go wrong and I'd be in for another month. So for about 2 years, I probably spent like 90% of my time in the hospital just being sick and trying, honestly, to not die. Um, I had other complications with it beyond the seizures. When I was in the hospital, somehow I got mono, and the mono attacked my heart. And so there was a time where they also wanted to give me a heart transplant. Yeah, it was bad. My ejection fraction, I don't know if you guys probably don't know what that is, but my ejection fraction was down to 9, which is really horrible, for lack of other words. Um, they had put me in a drug-induced coma to try to heal the heart, and luckily that worked for me. I don't know how long I was under. My parents refused to tell me that. They say there's some things that I'm better to not know. So I don't know how long I was under with that. I know that it was touch and go for a long time. They told me that I had had last rites. So that's really scary for
Wow.
me. But somehow, I managed to pull myself out of all of that. And eventually, I got on a better dialysis. When they start you off, they put you on hemodialysis, which means they put tubes in your body and pump your blood. And that was really hard on me, like the chemical reactions and stuff that the hemodialysis causes in your body. It was really hard on me. So all I ever did was sleep and puke. Like I became a professional puker. But then once I got well enough that they could implant the right tubes for it, I changed over to peritoneal dialysis. And while it made me really swollen everywhere, my overall quality of life was better because at least then I wasn't always just sleeping and puking. I could actually get up and try to do things on occasion. So it was a really rough path.
So, man, this was all within like a 2-year period.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the turning point? Like, when did things start picking up? Because obviously you're doing great now.
Yeah. Well, obviously things got a lot better when I got my transplant. Um, I had been looking for a donor, which is why they always say organ donation is so important, and I want everyone to know that today. I was waiting on the list for 2 years to get a kidney. Um, Somebody that my mom works with had been tested for me, and she qualified as an adequate donor for me. and we had the surgery scheduled and everything, and I was, she was going to give me a kidney, which was such a blessing. But after the surgery was even scheduled and everything was lined up, the hospital had called me one morning, and they said, we have a kidney for you. I said, I know, I already scheduled the surgery. They said, no, no, no. They said, we have a better kidney for you. And so that whole day was spent just, it was so stressful because, waiting for the kidney to arrive, and nobody slept that night. But my kidney actually came from a 16-year-old boy in Montana, I found out. He had had a bicycle accident, and he wasn't wearing a helmet. So my kidney came from him. It was a rare perfect match. Usually a 4-antigen match is good enough, but I got a 6-antigen match. So it was as good as it gets. Like, I got the holy grail of kidneys when it came down to it. It was younger than me. It was a perfect match. It was healthy. Everything was really great. So I remember even, like, going into surgery, I was terrified. Like, that was the big moment. Nobody wants to be cut open. But we went through, and I had the surgery, and I remember waking up in the recovery room, and I remember my mom standing there and just looking at me and saying, "Oh my God, Chris, you look so pink again," because from the kidney disease, I always looked real gray and sick. So getting my transplant, immediately it improved just the color of my skin and everything, and it started working right away. And I was lucky enough, I remember the first day the doctors came in after the surgery, they said, "Your kidney works better than anybody else in this room right now." So that was really exciting for me too. And it was a lot of recovery. It was very painful recovery. I take a lot of medicine, and you just have to do what you have to do. They always say, "Oh, I couldn't do that." Well, let me tell you, I would have said that too. But when it's do it or die, then you suck it up and do it.
You have no option.
So, really, the turning point was, when I got the new kidney, and then, my general health started improving. I had to do a lot of physical therapy because at that point, like I said, I couldn't really walk. I couldn't hold myself up. My legs weren't strong enough anymore, so I did a lot of physical therapy, just trying to, walk and do daily tasks. But eventually, things picked up, and I got back to normal. Not working all that time was really hard for me. I didn't like being the person that just laid at home all the time. So I was really excited when I got to start working again, and I got hired on full-time as a teacher. And I've done that now this is my 12th year. But there were bumps after that. I had a really bad rejection. And that was rough. They put me on plasmapheresis treatments, and it made all my hair fall out. So that was hard, being like a young girl and all of my hair falling out. That was really hard on me. Not to mention just the treatment itself and what it does to you. A lot of times they put me on prednisone for things. That was really hard. I don't know if you guys know very much about prednisone or what a steroid like that does to you, but my head would always look like a basketball, and it was terrible. Like, I looked like a real-life Cabbage Patch Kid. So there were a lot of things like that it was supposed to help me, but it was really hard to manage, some of the side effects and live with some of the side effects. It was hard. It was embarrassing, to go out like that. But like I said, when you don't have a choice, you just do what you have to do.
So you just keep pushing through. I like that. Now, what's your situation today? Obviously, you're in the gym. You're back on. We see you posting videos and pictures, and they're killing it. What's the situation like nowadays?
Okay, so right now, I'm actually not in a spectacular spot. My kidneys, the transplanted one that I have, it's dying. I'm down to somewhere between 10 and 20% because I'm sick enough to be on the transplant list again, but I'm not sick enough that I've had to start dialysis again. It's in my future, and I realize that. I just had a doctor's appointment this week, and my doctor and I talked about, upcoming dialysis. When am I going to need it? What do we have to do between now and then? Right now, I actually feel pretty good most days. I have different, kind of nickel dime problems where something will go wrong or I'll eat the wrong thing and it makes my system go out of whack, like something as stupid as oranges. If I eat too many oranges, my potassium goes through the roof and then the doctor freaks out that I'm going to have a heart attack. So I have a lot of things like that I have to be really careful about what I eat because, things that nobody else thinks about will throw my system completely out of whack and I'll end up with big problems. So I have to watch a lot of that right now. I take a lot of meds right now. I'm just waiting. I'm on the transplant list. I'm waiting. I'm waiting till it's my turn. I need a new kidney. I'm not as bad as other people right now, so I'm not going to be at the top of the list, but I'm working my way up. And my biggest hope at this point is that I can get a new kidney before the one that I have completely dies so that I don't have to do dialysis again.
Now, on that subject, what does one have to do in order to find out if they're a match? We have a big, maybe somebody out there might be your future donor.
I have various paperwork and stuff that I can share with folks if they were interested. You have to go to the hospital and you have to get a couple blood tests done, and you have to work with my hospital and let them know this is something I'm interested in. This is the person that I want to help, and then they do various blood tests and whatnot to see if you're a match.
Okay. So how about this? Sometime this week we'll get together and you give me whatever information you have that I can share with the group and see if anybody can look into that for you and maybe we can help you out somehow.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
That's a crazy story and I respect your struggle, your determination. We brought you on for a reason, and you didn't fail to let us down. Like this is an amazing story, and it's definitely motivating and it pushes us. I'm hoping somebody hears this and it helps push them as well. So appreciate you sharing that with us. On one positive note, are you guys still doing the show in a few months? You and the other girls out there in was it Pennsylvania?
It's not looking good.
No?
Not looking good.
Okay, well, if that changes, let me know. But again,
Sure.
thank you so much for sharing your story. Real quick, let me introduce the ace, Mr. TJ. You made a late entrance. What's going on, man? Say what's up. Your mic. All right. Anybody have any questions for Christina before we get into the Q&A from the group?
I have a question. So I know in the post that you had mentioned that you had a hard time building muscle. So what is your workout like?
I do mostly low weight, high reps. I'm small and it's really hard for me to build muscle. Plus, I can't eat as much protein as everyone else, and I can't take any supplements because of my issues. So my workout is pretty much high reps, low weight, and I just do as much as I can.
And I remember you said you pretty much lost a lot of muscle because you couldn't really do much and you became able. How long did that process take you to, build back up? Actually,
honestly, till I could function normally again, it took years. Because I remember it was sometime afterwards, which I can't pin a date on it, but it was sometime afterwards that I was at my parents' house, and I don't know, I ran out to the car for something, and I stopped, and I just had that aha moment, like, oh my God, I can run again. Because prior to that, I couldn't. Like, my legs weren't strong enough to motivate me or to move that fast. But
Yeah,
it took a long time to even get back to normal, let alone to where I am now.
Well, that just goes to show, whenever you feel like you have it bad, there's always someone out there who's got it worse. And if you can do it, anyone can do it. So again, thanks for sharing that story. It means a lot. Um, Larry, you want to jump into some questions from the group now?
I just wanted to say something to Christina. It's not really a question, but just an acknowledgement of, not using any illness or anything else as an excuse to not work out or not to carry on in life, because she has a good reason, you have a good reason to quit, to give up, to, and rightfully so, you would have a right to, but you don't. And I'm getting this from a video that Marcin had shared with me earlier today, about not giving in to excuses. It's not, people don't think about what you're going through so much, but they think about, and what motivates them is how you handle, what's going on, how we all handle what's going on in our lives, or trials or obstacles. It's the result of our hard work and our determination and will to continue, keep on going in spite of whatever you're going through. Some of us have the ultimate reason to quit, the ultimate, extreme circumstances that give us every right to give up, and we don't, because it's not about that. You just, you make a choice. You either give up or you don't give up. There's no in between. And so I just really want to, my hat's off to you for motivating, I'm sure, a lot of people on the BBL today with your story. And I'm sure that, some people give up for less than that. So if you can fight through and continue working hard and, just getting over each mountain that comes in your way, you're not only helping yourself, but a lot of other people who you probably don't know or don't realize that you're helping. So thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Well said, Carla. Well said. It's like basically what she's saying is, if someone with everything stacked against them, like Christina, who would get a pass to not work out and all these things because of her issues, still says fuck that and hits the gym and pushes herself, then no one should have an excuse. That should be a perfect example of why you should keep pushing. So, well said, Carla. I'm going to get into some questions now. We'll start off with a little something funny. Austin Matthew asks, what's up with Carla's dog? People want to know where the dog's at, Carla. Can't hear you.
I'll make sure that he's on next week. I actually came to the office to do some work, and so I didn't bring him with me, but he'll be on next week for sure.
People want the dog. What's the dog's name?
Baby.
Okay, people want Baby. On a serious note, he asked too, he says, I suffer from tendonitis in both of my elbows. It hurts to do any sort of preacher curls or sometimes supinated curl, and let's not even get into triceps. Ways to recover. Anybody want to take that one on? Crickets. All right, I'm going to jump in. So when I first started training, I used to have the same issue, especially whenever I did bench. My elbows would be killing me. And basically what I did was I lowered the weight a little bit. I it's almost, I focused on that to where it wouldn't hurt. Um, Definitely don't push yourself past that pain, because that's how you can make something worse and injure yourself. And another thing is to work on the muscles around your elbows, the muscles that are going to help support your arms. So like your triceps, your biceps, forearms. Work on these things. That way, they're going to take away some of the pressure that's going on your elbows. You're building up the surrounding muscles, and try that out, and you should start to see some improvement. Appreciate the question, Austin.
Another thing that you can do is from the supplement side of things, you want to take some glutamine. That'll help you out there with those joints and help reinforce that.
Yeah, definitely look into some good things for your joints. That'll help as well. All right, next question. It looks like it got cut off, but Shadell Gomberg asked about creatine, specifically Cray Alkaline, which is a brand, and as far as dosages and the workout days when he should take it. I don't know about that brand in particular, but most of what I read says about 5 grams a day, and before and after a workout, and then on rest days, I believe you half that. That's about it. I don't know about that particular brand. Any of you guys want to chime in on that?
I haven't heard about that particular brand. It's exactly what Tony said about how much.
Technical difficulty.
There we go. So about that one brand and how much to take, I haven't used that brand. I guess the biggest things when I look at that is, who manufactured it, if they're certified, that type of thing. But I don't know anything about that particular brand either. So,
All righty.
For the next question, Tony.
I got you. Okay, so we have Harley David. Harley asks, what is something you all look for in a lifting partner? Who wants to start that one off?
I think we give that to Christina. Go ahead, Christina. Start it off. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Things I look for in a lifting partner. I have 2 girlfriends that I like to lift with. One of them, Patty, I don't know, she's just my girlfriend. I enjoy working out with her because it gives me someone that motivates me along. Same with Corey. I learn a lot from Corey because I lift with her, and she's much more knowledgeable than I am. So a lot of times she can show me things that I don't know. I don't know, anybody that's good to hang out with, I guess, that lifts. I don't have too many lifting partners.
Thank you, Christina. Nick, what about you there?
Man, honestly, I'd say anyone who's going to be on time. If we say, like, hey, we're going to work out around 3 o'clock every day, I want you to be at 3 o'clock. I don't want to wait till 3:15 and my pre-workout's wearing off and everything. I don't care if you could be weaker than me, a lot stronger than me. Pulling weight off or pulling weight on, that's not a big deal. As long as you're there to spot me and be there on time, I'm good to go with anybody. That's just my preference, though.
All right, TJ. I know you're out there lurking. Unmute, buddy. There you go. TJ, can't hear you, buddy. But it looks like TJ's having some technical difficulties. Carla, you're up.
I like to work out with people that are super duper strong and knowledgeable, and it kind of forces me to get better and try to be stronger and not stay where I am. I like to, if I'm working out with some of my friends, or you know, people who need some help. I like that too. But I'd rather just work with them in their own hour, and then I can focus on them, and then work out by myself after, because I can't do both at the same time. So, but my preference is really to leans towards working with people that are a lot stronger than I am, so that it pushes me to do more.
I personally like working out with people who are more competitive. Um, the reason for that is because competitive people. I mean, for me, I'm very competitive, so having that person there that's more competitive just kind of pushes you to do more, and it ends up being fun because you know you're lifting and it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and it just kind of gets it going. You have a good time. Of course, you want someone that if you're gonna be doing a PR, that's not gonna let you on bench day chop your neck off or something. But with that being said, a competitive person that's gonna get in there and kind of help you hit those PRs by pushing you. Can you lift this? So I generally like to work out with someone roughly around my size, so the both of us are gaining. Because if the person's like some of our beasts in the group, I'm not touching a 500-pound bench. I mean, I'm not there yet. So maybe one day I'll be there, but someone that's more around where I'm lifting and everything, that it can be competitive to where we can push each other slightly above. That's cool. And then I know I could spot them because I'm not curling, on somebody benching 500 pounds. I'm not pulling that up. So we can leave that. Up to you now, Tony.
TJ, is your mic working yet? No. Try resetting. I'll go ahead and jump in though. I missed some of what you guys said, so I don't want to repeat. But basically, I need someone who's going to hold me accountable. So that means someone who's not going to bullshit me. So if I'm working out and say we're doing bench, and that last rep, they put their hand on the bar, and I get it up and they say, oh, that was all you, but they know damn well they were helping me pull it off. Or like deadlifts, I need someone who's going to say, hey, your back looked like shit. Or squats, you didn't break parallel, stuff like that. I want someone who's going to not beat around the bush and tell me what I want to hear. I don't need a yes man. I need someone who's going to be brutally honest and tell me to step my game up. One, that's going to push me to step it up. And two, I'm going to subconsciously, I want to try to impress my lifting partner, just like I want them to impress me with their lifts and motivate me. So to me, that's something big. TJ, you good? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Same question, huh?
Yep.
I like to work out. I don't train with somebody very often, but when I do, I want them to be stronger than me. I get the biggest dudes that I can get with, and that way I know I'm going to get pushed. Try to keep up with them. They're doing 120-pound rows, and I try to keep up with them, so it's always good. Definitely somebody that knows how to spot, especially on a bench, that doesn't just yank it straight up when I'm struggling. I want to push until I can't push no more. So I'm not, moving forward with it. Instead, somebody just grabs it. That upsets me. I'm sure everybody else the same. And somebody that's consistent, dedicated as I am. A beast.
Yep. You brought up a good point. Working out with someone who's stronger than you. It's kind of like I don't know if anyone plays basketball, but they tell you don't play basketball with people that aren't better than you. Yeah, you're gonna dominate and you're gonna feel good, but once you play against people that are good, it's not gonna help you any. You're gonna suck. So when I was growing up, they used to always say, try to ball with the real ballers, the guys who are better than you. because you have to step your game up. You have to be your best, and it makes you better. Same thing with lifting. If you're lifting with someone who's strong as fuck, and that person's gonna push you, that person's gonna motivate you, you're gonna really have to be on your A game when you're lifting with them. So, good point, TJ. Good question, Harley. We'll move on to the next one. This one is from Sean Patrick Clements. Sean asks, what pre-workout do you use? I use C4. What else is strong? I'll just go ahead and jump into this one. I used to use all kinds of different pre-workouts. I've done C4, the original Jack that almost killed me. That was the first experience I had with the pre-workout. I've used a bunch of stuff. I don't use pre-workout as much anymore because I'm really weird about what I put in my body. A lot of chemicals, things like that. I'm not into that, but there are some healthy alternatives that I like. I use a brand called Extreme Edge when I do use a pre-workout. It's an all-natural brand. I get it off of Amazon. But other than that, I just use coffee. So, anybody else?
I have a. Can I talk?
I use GAT, the Nitroflex. It's pretty good to me. I have a long-lasting energy through it. I also recommend Pre-Gym. Pre-Gym is also real good. It's a little more expensive than the Nitroflex GAT, but I don't know. It's pretty good. I don't recommend C4. I used that for years, and after having some real good stuff, it's garbage. I don't think I'll ever go back to it, even if they were giving it away for free. So I recommend if you can get your hands on something other than C4 to try it out, please do, because you probably won't ever go back to C4 after that again. That's just my personal experience with C4. So try something else, anything, but.
Cool. So you said GAT and anything.
GAT Nitroflex and the Pre-Gym Stapani stuff. They're both real good. I honestly don't know which one I like better yet. I'm still trying them both out. So.
All right, cool. What were we gonna say, Carla?
Oh, I was just gonna ask a question on, kind of about that question. Like, what does a pre-workout do for? Does it just make you feel pumped, or make you feel like super strong? It doesn't make you stronger, right? But it just makes you more pumped. I don't know. I think I have tried, like back in the day, the Jack 3D, but it didn't do anything for me. It just made my eyes feel weird. Like my eyes were like bugging out, but I didn't feel, like I wasn't lifting any more weight, or I wasn't, feeling like I was getting, like I was stronger or anything. So what exactly does it do?
I can answer this. So, in working with some stuff we were doing with supplements recently, one of the things I learned is supplements generally have multiple components to them. So one of the component obviously is going to be the stem one that gets you, stemmed out, a little bit crazy, give you more energy to work out. But they're also going to have a part of it that's going to give you focus, so that when you're doing your workout, you are more focused on, just being able to be in the zone and lift. And then another part that's generally a component of pre-workouts is the pumps. So it gets more blood flowing to the area that you're lifting in. So that way, obviously with the blood flowing, it swells more, gets you more pumped up and so forth.
Yeah, another thing is the vasodilation. So basically, you got your vein popping out, which to me is silly. I mean, they advertise things pump. So it's like if you're in the gym hitting it, you're gonna get swollen anyway. You're gonna pump. Your veins may or may not pop out depending on your body fat percentage, but to each his own. Sometimes I do that. But on to TJ. What do you recommend?
Me? I'm like you. I just do the coffee, just a cup of coffee and a little bit of coconut oil. Sometimes I even throw like maybe a tablespoon of like all natural butter in there when I'm wanting my fats real high. And yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I use. I was making my own concoctions of I had had a lot of caffeine powder, and I was using that, and I had beta alanine, and I had a glutamine, and I was making my own pre-workout. And I actually mixed up my caffeine with my beta alanine. Needless to say, I did like 5,000 milligrams of caffeine. Was hospitalized, so yeah, that caffeine's no joke. So I'll just stick with coffee from now on. I'm good.
Yeah, we almost lost TJ a few months back, if you didn't know. Um, but like a true barbarian, he pushed through. So, um, well, I hope that answers your question. I know there's a lot of stuff out there. Rumor on the street, there's supposed to be this awesome pre-workout coming out. Um, I don't know. We'll see. But next question. Let's see. Derek Chambers asks, can you explain variations and combos of high-intensity intermittent training? Well, um, anybody want to jump on that? I'm not a big hit guy with the two eyes. Um, anyone? No? Carla?
I'm not big on hit. The only thing I really do is speed, varied speed, sprints, and so forth. You sprint for a certain amount of time, then jog, then sprint. I do those type of hit workouts, but nothing more than that.
Okay. What about you, Carla? You were going to say something?
I mean, I do conditioning, which is sort of like that. It's not for long periods, like a whole complete workout, but a part of my workout, maybe for, 15 or 20 minutes would be, pushing the sled back and forth, really fast at a lighter weight, or, uh, walking with the yoke really fast at a lighter weight, something like that. But I don't really do a lot of that. I mean, when I did CrossFit, that was like a hit workout, that lasted for sometimes 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It all depended on the workout. Um, and so that's as much as I did as far as that's concerned. It's not my favorite thing.
Yeah, me neither. Christina, you got anything? All right. More? Okay, so HIIT, and I keep spelling it out because there's two different versions. There's HIT, high intensity training, and then, like I said, high intensity intermittent training. The HIIT is more for cardiovascular. So I don't do much of that, but if I were to, I would focus more on supersets. So basically, you want to have short, intense uh, spurts of training, and then with really short rest periods in between. So with supersets, you're basically doing that. You're hitting something, you're moving on to the next workout, hitting that, moving on back. So in between moving back and forth, you're having that short rest period, and you're jumping back on it, and that trains more of your cardiovascular in the process. So I would just look into some really good superset routines, and that should help you with the HIIT. Um, thanks for the question. Antonio J. Medina asks, do you consider sumo-style deadlifts? Also, why do them over regular style? I definitely, no question, consider sumo deadlifts because some of the strongest powerlifters in the world lift sumo, so there's no way to not consider that a deadlift. Record holders. Um, Other than that, it's all a preference. I lift conventional because that's how I started and that's how I was taught, and I feel comfortable that way. Every now and then I'll switch it up and do sumo stance. I don't really go too heavy on my sumo because it's not really what I train for. Um, Even though I know it's good to alternate, it helps with the muscles that you don't use on the other. Um, but like I said, it's a personal preference why people choose one over the other. They're more comfortable. With me, conventional, I feel more comfortable. I feel like I have more balance. I feel like I'm pushing off with my legs more control. Uh, but yeah, it's all dependent on the lifter. Uh, what about you, TJ?
Well, yeah, it's definitely a deadlift. I mostly stick with conventional myself. I've tried the sumo a few times, and you can definitely feel it on the, what are they, abductor muscles, inner thigh muscles. You can feel a lot more on me anyway. That's where I feel it. But yeah, I'm more comfortable with the conventional deadlifts. But definitely, it's definitely a deadlift.
Definitely a deadlift, right? Nick?
I do my sumo deadlifts. I actually do both. I do sumo on leg day and I do traditional on back day. I think they're both really good. Working two different muscles, or actually a lot of different muscles. But I like them both. I prefer to do traditional overall, but sumo is good just to finish out a nice leg day. That's just my opinion.
Cool,
But yeah,
cool.
sumo deadlifts are definitely deadlifts because they suck. And the first time I started doing them, I was using 25s because I couldn't get it down. So yeah, they hurt, and they're definitely not easy. So.
What about you, Christina? You got anything on deadlifts? Mike?
Okay, I don't do a whole lot of deadlifting. I try it on occasion, but it's actually very hard for me. I do lightweight, maybe 40, 50 pounds is all I can handle. But I do more conventional than the sumo.
Okay. Cool, cool. So would you say sumo is a deadlift?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Larry?
Yes, I would say that sumo is definitely a deadlift. Um, I guess I learned more about sumo from our admin, Mike. He does more sumo style deadlifting, and you can see the massive quads on that guy. So if that's any question there, I mean, look at Mike's damn quads, Quadzilla for you. So I do that, because Mike, that's how he got big. You kind of follow people that got big, and if you want to be like them, you follow what they did. But traditionally, I do more traditional deadlifts. It's a little bit easier for me to do than the sumo style. But the sumo style is definitely, like I said, a deadlift. And I've heard people who have issues with range of motion do sumo style because it's easier for them. If they don't have, the same flexibility to do a standard deadlift, they'll do some sumo.
Cool. On that note, we're hoping Mike shows his face one day. I think he's one of the last few admin that haven't showed up yet. So everyone out there, give Mike Ironback Fitness a hard time. Make sure he makes it on the show. He'd be a great guest. So, all right, let's start banging these questions out. Next one's from Ralph Bam Bam. He asks, what's the right way to use coconut oil? I'm a big believer in coconut oil. I use it for the health benefits as far as it's a healthy fat, medium medium triglyceride something. Anyway, it's a really healthy fat. What I do is, I've said this before, I mix my protein with my espresso, and then I add about a tablespoon of the coconut oil. So I'm getting my healthy fats in. Good for energy. It helps you burn fat as well. That is, I don't know about a right way. I mean, I like to mix it. Some people just get a spoon and eat it like that. So, anyone else got anything about coconut oil?
I use coconut oil for all types of things. coconut oil has a ton of different uses for them. People use it for oil pulling, which is a technique for, to help with your dental hygiene. You can use it for your body, tons of different things with your body there that it helps out with. I mean, the list goes on and on. People use it in their hair. It's a great antifungal, so you can use it on cuts or stuff like that. Or if you have some athlete's foot, you can use it to help cure it. I mean, the stuff is just amazing stuff. For a health benefit, you can use it. Like Tony said, it helps. With your fat intake, it's just a good fat for the body that it can use. So I mean, the uses for coconut oil, if you haven't heard about it, there's been a million YouTube videos that have been created and books written that tell you what the great benefits of coconut oil are. You should definitely include it in your body. And I have heard some stuff about it's good for your kidneys, but our expert here is Christina. So Christina, take it away.
I don't know if it's good for kidneys or not. I'm not. I haven't heard that, but I'm actually interested in trying it. I saw that post earlier today, and I was following it because I was also interested in seeing what some of the uses were for coconut oil. Every time I'm at the store, I look at it and I think, oh, I'm going to try that, but I haven't figured out what to do with it yet. So I actually appreciate this post because I'd like to give it a shot as well.
Yeah, coconut oil. It does a ton of stuff. I've used it for a lot of stuff personally. Lotion, toothpaste. It naturally whitens your teeth. Like Larry said, oil pulling, which is good for your dental hygiene. And oil pulling has been around since like the Egyptian days. They use it to pull toxins out of their body. Like he said, antifungal, microbial stuff like that. I mean, the list goes on and on. You can wash your face with it. Yeah, we could talk about coconut oil all day. I'm gonna jump into a couple more questions. We're starting to get it close on time. And there's some really good questions I want to get answered. So, my boy from way back in the day, Carlton Bashir, asks, "What are the best exercises to utilize to strengthen my knee after ACL repair?" I can speak on this personally. I've had 3 ACL surgeries. I have a cadaver ACL in my knee. Got infected a couple times, got screws, the works. So my knee's a freaking science project. But if anyone who's had an ACL surgery knows that your quad just shrinks. You're not able to use your legs, and your quad muscles just shrink so quick because your whole life they're used to being used daily, and all of a sudden you're just laid up and you're not using it. So I did physical therapy for years, and what they had me doing was a wide array of different things. Mostly they had me doing balance techniques, so like the little half circle rubber thingy. They'd have me stand on that with one leg and kind of work on balancing. I'd get the harnesses on the cable pulley and lift side to side, forward, side. Also, single leg presses. Trying to think, leg extensions. Basically, start light. Do what you can. Don't push yourself too hard to the point where you hurt yourself more, especially fresh after surgery, because you might damage the work the doctors did. You don't want to do that. So, like I said, start light. Work on your balance. Gradually push yourself. Start building back up. And I mean, it's a hard process, and it gets discouraging at times, but stick with it, and you'll start to see improvement. Quad muscle shrinks fast, but it can grow back fast too. So just stick with it, and good luck with that, buddy. Hit me up. I'm gonna move along. We have one from Austin, he's asking, what do you guys listen to when you work out? You want to start that off, TJ?
Mostly the old school hip hop. I like the DMX. He's barking at you, he's "Arr, arr," and all that. I mean, how can you not get hype on that? Then you got like Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man, Redman. I like some of the Game. He's one of the newer cats, I guess. Maybe 15 years old, but Pac, Biggie. Let's see. I like a lot of the old school stuff, like Easy, NWA, just stuff like that, man. Nostalgic.
Old school hip hop, I love it. What about you, Nick?
I actually listen to damn near everything. Like one song will be shoot 'em up, but selling dope. Next song will be some Adele, maybe some Justin Bieber, then some rock. It really depends on the mood. I can get down to anything. So I'm in a gym to lift. Some days I will say slower music like calms me down, so I can like be really focused. And some days I want to be yanked up. So any and everything. I don't really have that much of a preference. I'm there to lift.
I
Music
don't
is
know
secondary.
how you get hyped to Adele, but
Hey man, you can do it, man. You just gotta believe. I'm telling you, I really do it all the time. That's why I started laughing about this. So it happens.
What about you, Christina?
I actually have certain songs that I like for certain machines. Probably sounds strange. Whenever I'm doing squat rack, I like Drop It Low Girl. When I'm doing the good girl, bad girl machine, I like Buttons. So there's just certain songs that go well with certain exercises. I like a little bit of Marilyn Manson. Enter Sandman, I don't know, it's classic. It always makes me feel angry, like I want to do something. Little Missy Elliott, so quite a variety.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard anyone say they have some specific songs for specific workouts, but I like that. Larry, what are you listening to?
Mainly it's hip hop. I listen to a lot of hip hop, a lot of what TJ said he listened to, and Charles last week. I do have Adele on my playlist, and I do listen to stuff like that. It's a focus thing. It's just exactly how Nick said. Like some days I need to be calm because naturally I'm just a hyped out of the building person. So sometimes I need to take it down a few notches. Because like I'll go into the gym and just be like a wild barbarian, like like how you seen what's his name, whatever training fitness, like just hype, and I gotta calm it down because that's how you get injured, just going in there being crazy. So I gotta tone it. So sometimes Adele, sometimes even Enya will help me calm down and stay focused and not be too crazy. So I guess Carla's up next.
Carla is still MIA. Her phone died, so I'm like TJ. I like the old school hip hop. I don't mess around with these Drakes and Waka Flocka Flames and all this goofiness. But to each his own. I'm not knocking you, but I like the old school stuff. Like you said, DMX gets me fired up. I like Run the Jewels. They're a newer group, and they get down. Beats are sick. High pace, high intensity. But my main thing I listen to nowadays is drum and bass. You got the beats, you got the DJ. Couple artists are Keys and Crates, Trop Killers, Poochie, Bauer. The list goes on and on. So if you want some specific artists or songs, hit me up on the messenger, and I'll get with you guys. I think we have time for a couple more questions. Let's see. Carlos Hyde asks, am I the only one that gets sleepy after lifting? I don't really get sleepy except on leg day. I don't know what it is about leg day, but after I squat and just kill my legs, within a couple hours, I want to curl up in a ball and just hibernate. I'm exhausted. I don't know. Just leg day, though. Nothing else. What about you, Christina?
I live my life exhausted, but I always come home and nap. Either if I don't have a nap before my workout, then I always come home and nap afterwards because I'm beat.
All right, Nick.
I was the same way. I get real sleepy after my workouts. I mean, there's been a few times where I worked out and drove home and then actually passed out in my car in the driveway just because I couldn't make it upstairs. A good 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, what the just happened, you know? But it happens to me every time. I usually take a nap after every workout, but I like to do the 4 hour thing, 4 hour nap, and then 4 hours, at nighttime. Split it up. I don't like sleeping for more than 8 hours at a time. I'm a weirdo though. So
You're crazy.
yeah.
DJ.
I only get tired after leg day or back day, more or less squats or deadlifts. I usually take a nap either way. I'm getting old, so I take like a lot of afternoon naps and stuff regardless.
Those
But
are the
yeah.
best. I swear. Larry, I know you're taking naps.
I work out in the morning, like early morning, like 4:35 a.m. So after I work out, I'm tired, I guess. It kicks in. Like I used my morning energy up, so I take a nap before, like I jump in the shower. That helps with the napping process, and I take a nap before work.
You're squeezing in your nap because you're up all night banging out stuff. I don't know how that goes. All right, let's see. We got another question. Let's see. All right, this one. Yeah, that's a little. No, I'll skip that one. All right, Sean Patrick Clemens asks, question of the century. That's a pretty big claim. Training traps. Who trains them on back day? Who trains them on shoulders? TJ, you want to start that one off?
Me, myself, I switch it up a lot. I sometimes do it with shoulders, sometimes with back. Sometimes I'll just go in there and just hit just straight traps, and that's it. And just the exercises, more or less. Farmer walks work for me more than anything, more than doing shrugs. I mean, I'll do shrugs, but the benefits are not as good as the farmer walks because you're working your legs, you're working your core, you're working, other back muscles. So, yeah, I like the farmer walks, farmer carries, whatever you want to call them. Those things work awesome.
All right. What about you, Nick?
I have honestly never done traps on back day. It's always shoulders. Shoulders and traps get their own day. The only other time I'll do traps is on leg day just to get me a little pump up there before I squat, but that's about it. So those 2 days. Never back day though.
I gotcha. All right. Christina, you hit traps?
I do. I usually do them with shoulders.
Let's go.
I just have little baby ones, but I'm working on it.
Better than nothing. Nice. Larry?
All right, I'll say for Carla, she was having a little trouble with her computer, but she says for the previous question, she gets tired after her workouts, but not during the week. She says not when she only has an hour to do whatever she has to do. Now, as for traps, I just try to hit those as often as possible when they're not sore. So, like I just add them in at the end of the workout. I typically do strugs. We don't have the farmer walk stuff. That was new for me when I did it with Carla, and that was pretty boss. I want my gym to get the stuff to do farmer walks, so I can just come in there like, I got this. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I try to do it. So it's probably like every other day.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Carla. She just told me she did a 450-pound farmer's walk, or was it yoke carry, something like that. I get them confused. But to answer the question, I used to only train traps on my deadlift days. So after I was done with deadlifts, I'd go and do a couple workouts on my traps. I like to use the hex bar and do shrugs with that. But that always gets me every time. But now, because traps are one of my weaker areas, so I'm trying to do them more often. So I'll throw in some traps at the end of my shoulder day, and if I have time on the end of my back day. And same thing with deadlifts. If I have time, I'll do some trap workouts as well. So traps are kind of like calves to me, where you have to hit them a lot in order to get them to grow. And traps are one of those muscles that if you got big traps, you look like a beast. You can see it through a t-shirt. Like, traps are the shit. So good question. And we have a couple more, but we're out of time. So I appreciate everyone who submitted questions. I appreciate everyone who came out to watch the show and show support. I appreciate all our guests today. You guys are awesome as always. And a big thank you to Miss Christina Teaters for joining us today and being our very first guest on the show. You'll go down in the history books for that. We'd love to have you back on again another day. So we'll figure that out. But again, thank you very much for sharing your story. I'm sure you help motivate a lot of people out there. And also, like I said, we're going to try to post your information to the group and see if anyone is interested in trying to at least go to the doctor and look into seeing if they're a match. You know, we have a small but growing reach, and we're a family, so if we can help you out in any way, we'd love to do that. So get with me, share that information, and also, like Christina said, organ donating. It's a huge thing. It's saving lives, and unless it's a religious thing, there should be no reason why you're not donating organs. So appreciate that. And all right, well, this is the end of episode 3. Let's all say a goodbye real quick. TJ, what you got?
You
Can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, just stay cool, keep lifting heavy, be about that life.
about that life. All right.
About that life.
Yeah.
I'll second what TJ said. Stay strong.
Christina, any party words?
Whatever it is, if you want it, you can do it.
Well said, well said. And Larry?
I can't really follow that up. I mean, that was too good. But I will follow it up with the outro, so I'll cue that up for us so we can see that and present that for you guys.
Till next week.
Till next week.